Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the third episode of the cycle, the premier Slapshot podcast. I'm your host, Criz, and I'm here with the other two hosts as well, Rodeo and Balucha. But today, we have a special guest. Drum roll, please. Guest, please reveal yourself.
What's up, guys? It's Reno.
Reno 911 himself. Took time out of his busy schedule to be with us.
The chef, the cook,
at 11:20
the man,
p.m.
11:20 p.m. on a Tuesday.
storm legend.
Ooh,
Rush hour in the kitchen. Had to take a step out. Pleasure to be here.
All right,
And this
so,
is the third episode,
third.
not the second.
Third episode. Since Balucha messed up the title for the last one, but that's okay. We
Yeah.
still love
We're
him.
gonna get it this time, I believe.
We'll get it.
No promises.
All right. So with the lockout going on, a lot of
Crazy week.
a lot of things went on this week. This is no SPL season on hold right now. So we decided we're gonna do something a little more fun, laid back, I guess. I mean, it could turn into more drama, I guess.
I'd actually like to devolve into a shouting match, if
Yes,
you'll allow it.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. We should make a separate
I think,
channel.
I think League Chat might be a clusterfuck after this one.
Could be.
We'll see what happens.
We have to lock it again. But so we decided to make what we all felt was a top 20 list of players, and this is all just in good fun. This is nothing obviously
Yes.
personal. We
We're
tried to
avoiding-
have no bias, of course, but
We're avoiding the current drama by making our own drama.
right.
Yes.
But this is fun drama, or it's supposed to be. It's more to be light.
We'll see. We'll see, dude.
Again.
I can see Walster, popping off a little bit. Where did you rank me? No spoilers.
All right. So before we get into the list, so the way the list worked is that we all voted blindly, our top 20, and then we all sent it to each other at the same time. And then we have one final list, which we're going to be using as our only list, that everybody just kind of took the average ranking of the person, and whatever the average rank is, we just ranked it from 1 to 20. So, before we go into the final rankings, why don't we each talk about what we took into account before rating each player, so that way they can kind of know what we were thinking? Because obviously there's going to be people who are ranked higher than others, lower than others, and obviously it's going to be based on what you're thinking in your mind, like what you're looking for in like a teammate or even just a player. So, Rodeo, what were you looking for?
I look for definitely in-season performance. I didn't look as much as like what you think of players in pubs. Stats don't play the biggest part because stats definitely don't tell the full story. They definitely help in a case like someone like Walster. Historically has like pretty good stats, but he doesn't get the most respect probably.
Why is it always Walster, dude? I said
Does he always-
Walster, you said Walster.
No, everyone always hates on Walster, but he's a shooter. It's
He's
just,
a
we have
shooter.
something in common there. He
pucks on net.
Yeah, he gets him in the net. It's just
We'll
what he
get
does. Yeah, and but I don't take his raw stats as hard into account. Obviously, they matter a lot, but like stats matter a lot on your team and things that come into play there. Carry potential, defense probably underrepresented on this list, especially the voted list, which the community voted on for the most part. Defensive players weren't represented the best there. Yeah, I just season performance is mainly like the how you've done in competitive play is my main like draw for how I ranked people.
Okay. Balucha.
And not just raw placement, like if you won or like made it far in the playoffs, just like how you've done regular season, all that.
Yep.
So I agree with a lot of what Rodeo said he looks for. My main things are like technical skill, like mastery of the game mechanics. In that sort of order. I also like the phrasing of carry potential. If we're going down the list, it's like if we put this person on our team, like what impact are they actually going to have? If I'm going to be honest with myself, I think I'm a little bit unfair toward defensive players. My bad. But it's just so sick to see people like I feel like defense is one thing, but being able to have mastery over the mechanics of the game, means that you're putting pucks in net. Walster, he's a shooter. so if you put pucks in the net and you have high technical skill, that's pretty much how I ranked players.
But I actually think Walster lacks raw technical skill, which is what makes him so. Which is why I don't think he gets a lot of the hype he deserves.
But
Well,
we'll get
actually,
into
deserves is a different.
Walster when it's time to get into Walster.
Walster, Walrus,
Yeah.
potato.
All right, Reno. If you were making a list, we know you didn't make a list. You were just in charge of the first community list. What would you specifically rank above other things?
So I mean, if I made a list, I would probably do what everyone said so far. Is I am a defensive player, so I think defense is like where the skill ceiling is in this game beyond just your puck control. So I think being able to be a two-way player is what's going to set you above everyone else. I think we did a decent job representing that in this list, but we'll see how that breaks down in a little bit here.
Yep. Okay, now
Yeah.
my list. I see for me, like the way I look at it is like who would I want as like a teammate? That's how I would think of it.
It's very personal.
It's very personal. But I don't know. It's hard to think of it as just like pure raw skill because like I don't know. I feel like that's just not an accurate list of because you're never just like your own. You're never just on your own. Like you're always on a team. So for me, it's like how do you fit in like with teams? So like if I put you on the top 8 pro teams, how would you fit in with all of them? Like that's kind of how I tried to think of it. Like if I just replace you with whoever, how would you fit in with those people? Like I think that the list doesn't just show like raw mechanical best skill player because I think that that's not an accurate list. So I tried to make my list more so like that, I guess, more so team orientated, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it goes without saying like the list is not definitive. It's just our opinions, and we're just a couple of guys. Like we don't.
This is all of our combined lists. This isn't anybody's specific list.
And the community's list. So if you give us shit, you're giving yourself shit.
Yeah,
that's also true. When we had people vote for it, so
yes.
Yeah.
All right. Do we each wanna?
We'll just get into number one. Pretty definitive. Was it the only? It
might have been the only consensus vote.
Yeah.
The only unanimous vote.
Unanimous. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, it is the only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the only.
Was Meat Sale at number one, which is a pretty big change.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple months ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, I think this would have looked a lot different. Panarin was pretty dead set at number one, but Meat Sale, he's been grinding. What can I say?
Yeah, he got mentored by Panarin coming out of the season 2 draft. He played a lot like him for a while, and now he has like his complete own play style. They don't really look anything alike.
Yeah, I don't think they
built
look
his own identity.
Alike.
Yeah, they did for a bit when Panarin was first showing him like all the little tech and little moves and stuff that they do. But now Mitchell like kind of took that and like used it in his own complete way. His shot is I wouldn't say way better, but definitely like one of his defining features over Panarin. Especially from farther out.
He's been inventing new moves too.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, his making shit up on the fly is what sets him apart really. Yeah. He posted a clip earlier of like him doing crazy wall passes and shit to Dream, which are just fantastic. And he does a lot of like little stuff like that, a lot more common than other players do.
For me, what puts Meat at number one is his ability to tuck things away right near the post. Like as someone who's like typically in net a lot, if I see him down there, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do to defend him. I just have to hope that I'm in the right spot because he could just do whatever.
Yeah, he's definitely the best cherry picker. Combined with like he's one of like the best like board battlers and just like one of the best at hitting, so that like he creates so much space for himself and he can crank out any move to try and finish the puck.
I think for me that separates me is like it's like the Kobe Bryant effect in basketball. It's like you get too close, he'll go by you, and you stay too far away, and he'll just pass it. Like I feel like no matter what, he's always looking for like the best option to like help whatever the team's doing. And even if you play close on him, like his shot, his backhand to forehand shot is like so quick that you can't even defend it. Even if you turn your stick even a half second, even a quarter second like too late, it's still gonna go past you. And he can either shoot it or pass it, doing backhand to forehand, which is like incredible.
Yeah.
So that's me.
That's me. Yeah. He's hot.
Number one.
You're number one.
And number two, I mean, I think we've talked about it a little bit. Pretty obvious pick here. Almost unanimously, Panarin as number two.
Yeah.
Yep. The first GOAT. Meatsail's kind of fighting for that spot now. Doesn't know quite the accomplishments Panarin has, but we'll see what happens soon. He was just like the first person to like the first person to do shit no one else could do, especially stick handling wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Deeks almost
inventing
yeah.
moves. That's what
Deeks
I think.
almost look robotic, especially in the clip he was posting today. I don't know what that means, but
robotic, you could say.
yeah.
Almost macro, like, huh?
Alright.
Okay. We're not that dumb. We would never think that. But yeah.
Yeah, not much more to say on Panarin. He's
Nothing.
spoken
No,
for himself.
Just
this
the first-
season.
Up Panarin.
It was just like the first like because like they were original best players, right? Like Gubby and Midas, but like
Yeah.
I didn't play during that time, but I don't know how much better everyone thought they were than everyone else. But before me, like Panarin was so much better than everyone
Yeah.
else.
Gubby
Sure.
was a lot better, like easily, like he was the first person to ever stick handle. So Panarin like was the first to be like really good at it,
Mhm.
but Gubby like made
Yeah.
stick handling a thing. So
Yeah.
but yeah, Panarin has been like the Gubby of the last
Yeah.
year. So
And
Yeah.
consistency based. Like his consistency is insane.
Yeah.
And actually, I think the thing he's best at is actually board battles and hitting. Like
Yes.
it's
Definitely.
so hard to get the puck off of him. Like you
Yeah.
can hit him and smack around, and like he'll switch his stick. So like when you hit him, like he'll bring the puck with him and clamp it into the boards, and then beat you off of it, and then
I
he
think
just
that
still
might
has the
be
puck.
actually one aspect that he has over Meatsail for sure.
Yeah,
Is like
100%.
Meatsail's keep away ability, maybe not as good, but he'll pass
Yeah.
it, he'll shoot it, he'll do whatever he has to do.
Mhm.
But Panarin can just make you look like a fool behind the net, in front of the
Yeah,
net, along
yeah,
the boards,
definitely.
wherever. He'll just hold on to it forever.
Panarin's consistency, I'd say, is like the
Yeah,
hardest thing to match. Is just like always like never dropping the puck in your own end or like dropping it on your backhand or forehand, like trying to switch over the puck, anything like that. He just always has it in the perfect spot.
yeah. And he has the accomplishments too. He won NSL season 1.
Right.
Was the MVP, best scorer, all that. Won season 2 and SPL. So
Right.
you
Yep.
know, he's a
Yep.
consistent factor and Dream, but we'll get to him later.
All right. Number 3.
Do you want to let Rodeo announce number 3?
It's myself.
Oh, it's Rodeo.
What?
That's crazy.
All right, Rodeo.
Whoa.
What do you think about Rodeo?
I think Rodeo has
How about you guys?
MVP. What is it?
Defending
Two-time
MVP.
MVP, defending
Two-time.
MVP,
Two-time MVP and Flaunty's MVP of SPL. So that might
That's
be
the
a
more
third.
important one.
semifinalist,
A bunch of times. Been killing that game.
most improved. Did you get most? You know, never most
Yeah.
improved, best valued. Was that
No,
one?
most improved and best value.
Most
season one.
improved and best valued MVP. You know, what can you say? Rodeo, I mean, he's right up there. His stick handling's really good. He's quick. You know, he sees the plays, he makes it happen. Just a little bit less consistent.
True.
But carry
My-
potential, Rodeo is like
Oh yeah.
maybe one of the top, you know.
Well,
You
that's
put
I think
him on
my
the team, and when he wants to score goals, he scores goals.
yeah, I think my big thing that keeps me out of the like the not in the meat zone Panarin tier is my board battling. Lacks like I'd say like probably even K-Spire might have me over that. I like started to get better as I start to focus on it more. But I'm still like way behind where they are.
yeah.
It was
He's got
the,
That's all
close
I
up
can
those
remember.
goals.
coming off my first season as Rodeo's my teammate, it was so nice to just have the puck on our own end and just dish it down to him off the boards, and I just know it's going in. 9 times out of 10, that puck's in the back of the net.
I'm a shooter.
The
Was
shooter.
it like 58% on 114 shots? Like, don't fuck with me.
But who's counting, right?
Yeah. Not me, of course not.
Who we got at number 4?
We have the third clapper already on the list in the top 4, Dream.
Mr. Dream.
Are we surprised to see him at number 4?
This is where it starts to get a bit closer, but I still think for now, Dream's still the solid bet at 4. Just consistency wise, I think he gets the 4th spot over who's at 5th,
Yeah.
who we'll get to in a second.
He might not always be like as consistently flashy as like Meadsell or Panarin, but he's got great stick handling and passing too. He's got long passes and all that. And I also see him sometimes picking up like that 1T role. He's deadly. Like when the puck comes off the boards in front of the net, Dream's gonna spin around and put it in.
I might be misremembering because I can't look at the stats right now, but I think he had the most goals on the clappers this season, right?
Did he?
He's either 1 or 2.
They were all within like
yeah, they were all
5, I
really
wanna say.
close, but I think Dream might have been number 1.
Thing that I like about Dream as a player is like I feel like he doesn't feel like he has to shine. Like I feel like he's more
Yeah.
like he'll do whatever like role you want him to do so that like me and Panarin can shine. Like I feel like he could easily be 1 or 2 or 3 if he really like wanted to, or like put himself in that spotlight, or like just wanted to be like, oh hey, I want to score more, I want to do this more. But like I feel like he knows that like it's best for the team if he just plays his role and lets them kind of pop off. I mean, he obviously scored, more goals being in the right spots and stuff, but I'm saying like they get more of like the spotlight sort of thing. So I think that that's a big reason why they also are consistently good, is he kind of just lets them play.
Yeah, I mean they've been the best for a while, so
Yeah,
for a reason.
100%.
We'll head on to number 5 now.
Number 5.
Dynamite. Probably this is probably the last spot where the list gets like pretty obvious, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone?
The puck goes in. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
that's the story of Dino Mike. Like I don't know, he's always moving towards the net, and I would say about 80% of the time the puck is moving with him, and they just end up in the net one way or another. I mean, I don't know if he has the highest technical skill. I think he sees the goal and he sees the puck, and he just kind of draws the line in between.
I think he's got great awareness.
I think he has like one of the highest base consistencies of like the mid-level dekes, like just like the left right, kind of like the dream shake someone off and just to, like get the open shot, and he nets it like a very high percentage of the time.
Yep.
And I mean he always has the stats to back up. He's always way up there in goals. Season 1 he wasn't because he was in JSL somehow. I don't know who let that happen, but season 2 and now he's just always performed, beat us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
you'll
he- he
always
gained a lot
notice
of
him in the
respect.
stats.
He gained
Yeah.
a lot of
Also,
respect from
actually,
me.
he's one of the players up there with Panarin where it's really hard to get the puck off him, but he doesn't do it in the same way Panarin does.
No.
He just always somehow retains the puck after you smack him.
Yeah, I was gonna say something that he's really good at
But it's
is
not-
like when he's waiting for the puck like down the other end, like he's always like bumping you to get you out of the spot. Like he's really good at like boxing you out, or like just getting you out of your spot so that he can be in the spot. Like he's good at bullying you. Like he's really good at just that creating space for himself, not with like dekes, but just like waiting for
It's
the
like
puck.
a more physical player almost.
Right, yeah. He's just more of like a get the fuck out of my way. Like
Like a bulldozer.
yeah, he's just like he's just there.
Yep. Number 6,
K-Spire.
Case
Probably one of the, if we did this before this season, probably he might have been one of the highest climbers if we had a previous ranking to go off of.
He took a big jump. He started a lot later than a lot of other people.
Yeah. Well, he just got shafted. He got JSL NSL season 2 somehow on Boston
true.
when he probably shouldn't have been. Yuri started over him. I don't know whose call that was, but yeah.
Sorry, Yuri.
He's just
But on the Smokers, he had definitely the most like presence on the ice. Maybe save for Dennis in the games that he played for him. But he's got the speed. He doesn't have the consistency in the stick handling, and he might not put the puck in as much. But he's definitely one of those players that can move the puck really quickly. And I think as far as technical skill, that's why I would rank him up so high.
Yeah. I also think this is where you start to see some drawbacks on some of the players. I don't mean to roast my guy. But I think if you ask a lot of people, if you're playing with him on a team, he might have too much time on the puck to what a teammate might be comfortable with. Like I feel like he does pass up a lot of open passes that could result in goals to like try to go for the fancy move, which has to happen at some point.
Right.
To like, because you need to keep your opponent thinking what you're gonna do. But I just feel like there's a point where like he passes it up too often, where he's gonna hold onto the puck, and it kind of gives you a read on him.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because I feel like he really evolved into like this number 6 player early on in the season, especially when he was doing those behind the net, his little K-Spire explosive start. But I think people caught on to that pretty quick, and we saw his stats fall off. And I think if we did this list again next season, he's someone I would put down as maybe falling down a couple notches. Hopefully, I'm wrong in that. I'd love to see him do better, but that's just what I think would
Bold
happen as people learn.
prediction.
Bold predictions, but people do learn play styles.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, we're mostly going off of the placement season performance. Not really leaning too far into like, previous formats or NSL or what we see in pugs or pubs or whatever it is. Like
Mhm.
mostly what we saw through SPL placement season.
All right, number 7.
Number 7.
This is 6 and 7 were pretty close in voting. The 7th is going to be Oceloth.
Oceloth. And what do we
Yeah.
think about Oceloth at number 7?
He's also one of the really big climbers, but he climbed before the season, right in between NSL and SPL when there really wasn't much going on. He just grinded pugs.
He wasn't
And-
playing much. Did he play NSL just briefly at the end, right?
He was on the Austin Cans season
Okay,
2.
okay.
Yeah. So no, he didn't play.
So until SPL, until this season, he didn't really have a chance to like show himself competitively. He was playing a lot of pubs. So he was a player that you'd run into a lot if you just kind of joined a game. But it was exciting to finally see him in competitive. And I mean, I think people might have had higher hopes for him, but
Yeah.
I think he slots in nicely at number 7. And I think he's still got room to grow, which is really exciting. Like he's someone that I don't think has like plateaued.
Yeah, no, not at all. I think you saw a bit of a role clash on that team. The Baltimore Burgers from that season. I think him and Renard kind of play the same way, just also had a way higher consistency.
Yeah.
So I think that took a bit away from like their overlap.
I think Oceloth is someone who could really shine in that like first up, just put him in type of meat sale kind of role, you know?
Yeah.
And just if he has 2 teammates behind him that he can trust to make the saves and everything, I'd really like to see Oceloth how he performs if he goes into like a full offense role.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, if we do see their new team that he's supposed to be playing on this upcoming season or whatever season, I think that's when we'll see him really explode.
Yeah,
into
he's definitely the
what
player
he
to
is.
watch on that team.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I just think he fits well with like anybody that you put him with. Like I feel like you could plop him on any team, and I feel like he would still be like really good just because he plays solid defense and he passes. Like, and he's pretty consistent. So
Which is why it's going to be scary seeing him with 2 people he's super comfortable with.
right, yeah, that's what I'm
definitely.
saying.
Like
Like,
building chemistry.
yeah.
Speaking French.
Yep.
All right, number 8, we got Wrath.
My guy. Virginia Express had a good season. They had a
Finished
down
strong.
beginning and then just brought it back. They beat some good teams. Wrath is a huge reason that happened. He's transferred more. He played hard defense for me back in the day. Transferred. He plays more like an offensive defenseman. I think Seppi plays the one role more than Wrath.
Yeah.
Like, Seppi did have more goals. But I think having Wrath in that middle role, like using his defensive experience, like makes him an amazing player to have in that position. Because he knows when he can transfer back and play a bit more safe if the team needs some more stops to get some more offense rolling. But he also has been working on his offense a great deal. And he's really starting to bring out more moves.
Would you say that this might be a placement where being the second man might hold him back as far as stats, as far as points, goals, whatever it is? Like he plays a great second man role. He gets it up to Seppi. But we were seeing Seppi scoring most of the goals for the Express. But maybe if Wrath was number 1, same with Oceloth, he has people behind him. I think Wrath is someone who would be able to move the puck quickly up top and
I think with
score
that Virginia team, I actually think because I think Wrath was the most important part of that team throughout the season, just because of his being able to go back on defense and like great turnovers and everything. And he gets great forecheck like stops in a really safe way. He doesn't risk a lot by like dashing into people. He just stays in front of him and forces the other person to make a mistake. I think that just like he just really like holds the team together. And I don't think you would see the same performance out of them if you switched him and Seppi in that role. I think Wrath is way more valuable as the middleman than he would be up top.
Yeah.
I think just looking like overall at these top 10, he's probably arguably one of the smartest, meaning that he doesn't really put the puck in a situation where something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's just cautious.
Yeah, if he sees shit getting scary, he'll be the first one to just bring bring it behind his own net, get a reset, let people spread out.
Yeah.
Try to set a pick off your teammate, like get someone to hit some people, something like that. He's just always trying to make the smart play, which is really fun to play with.
All right, number 9, Chef Reno,
Chef.
Hey.
the chef.
Probably also saw a great improvement over the season if you were to take this list before.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know, did you on NSL season 2? Do you split games with the others? I know you had quite the deep roster.
I mean, I had a pretty deep roster, and I wanted to get the LOD guys as much playing time on the ice together as I could.
Yeah,
So we split. I took some JSL games. I just wanted to have everyone to play.
yeah.
So this is your
Um,
first time as like a full-time pro player. If you
Well,
want to
I mean,
really get
NSL
cringe.
season 1, I took overs and I played most of those, but it was like a scrambled roster, so
Yeah,
I would consider this,
Yeah.
yes, my first full season.
real outing. Yeah, I mean, number
So-
9, definitely a respectable placement. If we're looking at top 20, I think you're pretty consistent. I think that you've got the handling there. There's just like, it doesn't have that edge, like you
Mhm.
move the puck around, you're looking for passes, but there's not that extra little like zinger, little sparkle on top of it. I don't really know how else to describe it.
Yeah. He just
Very
has like
well
the
rounded.
Yeah,
very-
well-rounded for sure, but like maybe good at everything, but not like excelling in any particular
Jack of all
category.
trades, ace
Actually,
of men sort
I
of
think he
thing.
excels in that. To be honest.
Yeah, actually, I mean,
Um,
you played goalie for a lot of it, and
Like
so, I mean,
minus
that
the minus a few of the questionable turnovers, which I mean everyone gets. It's not like it's not a particular trait,
Yeah.
but just consistency in the back. Like perform when he had to. Playoffs, especially round 1, was amazing. They were. I don't even know how many goals they scored. It wasn't a lot though. Game 1 went to OT. You had that amazing save at the Smokers. That was probably a season highlight.
Yes, sir.
And you definitely have the moves. I'd love to see more consistency out of that because they do kind of fall short sometimes, which is I think where the rating drop comes. But yeah,
I think
definitely
with
a great rating.
I think with your new teammate, you'll be able to open up some of that offense that you got sitting in the back of the net. You know what I mean?
yeah,
yeah.
well, we're gonna move the puck great next time we get back out on the ice.
Yeah.
Number 10.
Also,
Oh, sorry.
no, sorry. I will say that with your position, it does get riskier to dangle. So I don't think not dangling is like a bad thing either.
Okay. All right. To round out the top 10, we have F. Simino, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Okay. And this might have been the like the most contested spot yet. There's
Yeah.
all these different names on there, but it just kind of averaged out that way. Simino was voted for a higher placement and sort of settled in at number 10. I think you could argue for him to be higher. I think you could argue for him to be lower. But he's another player. It's funny how they rank up next to each other, but I think really similar to Reno in the way of being super well-rounded. But we just don't see we don't see a particular excellence in a certain area.
All right, personally, for me, I've watched FSI play a lot, and I personally would say Reno only slightly higher because I think with FSI, I feel like there's a little bit lacking like the mental, like the mind games almost. Like you shoot 2 passes, then you should be like, all right, I should just rip one on net just so like next time, like they have to be scared of the shot sort of thing. Even if it's not like a good shot, just shooting it makes them scared of it. I feel like sometimes he falls too much into that, always going for the pass or trying to force the pass. Like even if it's just like I said, just shooting it on net just to get them to have to fear it. Like I feel like he just falls into that trap too much of trying to almost be too good of a teammate, if that makes sense. Like he's too unselfish.
Dang, what a drawback.
Well,
he's too good of a teammate.
He passes up good shots for like passes that might get closed on because people read it.
You should hear him in team comms, dude. Just a fucking diva. It's like unbearable. It's
No,
absurd.
I will give FSI one thing. He does this thing. We used to go on an FSI goal, and he would just get down in their end, take the puck, and just walk it in.
Yeah.
It's just not something
We
the
would,
other
we
people
would
would
every
do.
game we would say we're good for one FSI goal. He just runs
Yeah.
down low, smacks shit around, comes out with the puck, and just tosses it in the net.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it takes balls to do that.
Mhm.
So, props.
And he's French, so it kind of
And
sucks.
he's French.
And he left my team, asshole. But
And
Okay.
speaking of French,
ooh,
at number 11,
and developer scum.
developer scum,
The dog
Shiba.
himself.
The dog, the big bad dog.
Here
What would he say?
is,
Borg
number
or
11.
something? What's his thing?
What do we think about this?
He probably one of the better later picks in the season 2 draft. He definitely he just kind of bursted onto the competitive scene, and now everyone what you expect from Shiba now. They came out of nowhere. Great passer, especially when playing with his brother in your lineup.
Yep.
Kim Jong.
I would. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you go.
I would say when I think about Reno in the the back end of the net, I think about Shiva in the front, in terms of him finishing and passing. I feel like he's really just overall well rounded in the front side of the ice, which I feel like is obviously hard to find. So I feel like he's really good at reverse camming, which I feel like a lot of people aren't really good at, myself included. So I feel like that's he's somebody I'd want on my team. He's just a very well rounded offensive player.
Yeah. I think when you first started playing the Balucha, wasn't he more defensive?
A little bit, yeah.
I know you guys cycled a lot, so I know
Yeah.
kind of whoever ends up back. But I feel like he was always had more defensive tendencies. But I feel like a lot more now. You see him a lot down low, doing outlet passes, trying to set someone up for the 1T. Mainly
Yeah.
you.
I mean, I'm
And
not
Kim
100%. So the reason that I actually wanted to pick up Shiba in the first place was because he could finish. I
Yeah.
knew I valued myself as a number 2 player, like a second man, that I was gonna be passing. I needed someone who could finish 1Ts, and I don't know what it was about him, but he was level 13 or 14 and could just pot him. And I was like, oh, yep, this is the dark horse pick. I had a weird draft setup in NSL season 2. I needed my 9 and 10 back to back, and that was going to be my team. So I ended up going with Shiba, and it definitely paid off. He's really cool, and I mean, to some degree, it led to him actually working on the game because we get to talking and all that. So
Yeah.
it all worked out in the end. But yeah, he's a great player, good finisher, and he can fill into whatever role really. But I think he does best either just kind of playing back and forth up in front of the net.
Yeah.
Right.
Going into number 12, they're literally brothers.
The one he's playing off.
Yeah, Kim Jong.
Our third baguette in a row.
Kim Jong was kind of an unknown. I drafted him second to last round in season 2. I drafted him based off of one clip from my montage where he made an outlet pass for me, and then they ended up winning the JSL championship. Him and Criz actually.
Yeah, he was nuts in
Yeah.
JSL.
Yeah, that team was sick. I'll take a lot of credit for that. But
he definitely
yeah.
mirrors Shiba a lot in terms of his plays. Definitely a down low finisher, reverse cam, outlet, just overall good offensive player. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as Shiba, just I would say a little
Pass.
less inconsistent, but other than that, they're almost identical in terms of how they play.
Yeah. They just
They're-
love team
they're-
play. That's their whole
Right,
thing.
yeah.
They just love cycling. They love little tap passes. All
Twins
stuff
in
like
real
that.
life and twins
Yeah.
in the game.
Yep.
I think one struggle that we had in the SPL placement season was that if they're not together, they feel off.
Yeah.
They did really well when they're together, but they just didn't feel right. So with SPL season 1, if it happens, they've got a new team going on, and we'll see that chemistry in open division as they just wreck floor. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I think what separates them two from 11 and 12 is you can take Shiba and put him somewhere else. I just don't see you putting Kim Jong somewhere else and him
Right,
being
yeah.
the same player.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see them both together for a full season
Yeah.
with like full freedom to do that. They just need a great third that can watch the net for
Also,
them.
I don't know what happened since like the lockout and everything, but their third that was like pretty much confirmed is gonna be really good with them. I don't want to announce it in case it never happens, or if it does happen, I want to like take the thunder away. But
Yeah.
they have good things coming. Which leads into number 13, Epic Man, or Floppy Porpoise, some people might know him by. Honolulu Hootenanny.
Man of many names.
Man of
Yeah.
many, many, many names. And
Potential
the
Rocket
reason-
League thief.
the
We'll see.
reason for a rule change, disallowing name changes during the season,
Yeah.
the sole perpetrator of such crimes.
Yep.
He's another well-rounded player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's lower on the top 20 list, but if we think back to season 1 NSL Clappers, he was their defense guy. I was
Yeah.
watching him. I don't think he ever passed center ice. That was his zone. He stayed there. He played it well. Later on, we saw him cherry picking just to switch it up. People didn't really know what to do with it. And I think he's someone that can play in a lot of different places. I think he gets relegated back to defense a lot of the time, even if he doesn't feel the most comfortable there. But I think he can finish. I think he can pass. I think he can defend. So I think he definitely is
Yeah, I
worthy
think
of being
he,
up on the list.
I think he kind of just got not shoved in the back. 'Cause I actually do think he likes playing back there because he has a lot of confidence in himself playing that role.
Sure.
But because he teamed with a duo in Fowlef and Luigi who played together a lot. Like,
Yeah.
So I just think he's like natural in that role, and he was like the reason I think they competed so hard. Like he kept the score really low, especially against us. He brought us to OT twice, the one game in the regular season and the first playoff game. Until you eventually get a few bags. Their team did have some flaws, but like you just playing against him, you can tell like he's kind of just like keeping them in the game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna put him on blast real quick because he knows it's all in good fun.
Okay.
But I think what really bites him is that I think he thinks he's a little bit better of an offensive player than he tends to be, and he ends up creeping past where he's usually comfortable, and that puck just finds its way in its own net. And I think he puts a little bit too much dependability on the rest of his team to pick up his slack. But I mean, he's an NSL Season 1 champ. I mean, the guy's
True.
got, he's
He
got
did compete on the
the
best
history.
team.
Yeah. So
Criz, any thoughts?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
fuck it.
All right, moving on, I guess. Number 14,
14. Panther.
Panther.
You guys stole all my thunder
What do you mean?
on Epic Man.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I think he only just struggles because I feel like he can only play one role. Like I feel like
Yeah.
you
I
have
agree.
to. I feel like you have to be able to play two roles, even if the second role isn't like amazing. Just because you can't always be in the back, and if you are, like, you're not always gonna be able to just come to the back of your net and sit there the whole game and not go past half ice anymore. Where like, I feel like in season 1 you could get away with that, or like when he was on the Clappers. 'Cause I feel like people hadn't advanced. Where I feel like now a lot more people have like advanced the game to the point where you have to. It's like Rocket League. You can't always just be in the the main spot. I think you have to play at least two. So I feel like if he could really just work on being even just like the second man, I feel like he could easily be one of the best players in the league by far.
He talks about his offensive game a lot. I'd love to see him do it again because I know he did a bit on the Clappers later in the season when he had some lag issues.
Yeah,
because that spot takes a bit away a bit of the responsibility on the team. But I'd love to see him go back up and start scoring again.
Yeah,
with like a more rotational role where he can get back and make plays on defense, but it also gives him some flexibility to make plays on offense.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like he'd be better with like a better team, but then at the same time, it's like a better team doesn't want to pick him up because they feel like he would only play the defensive role. So at the same time, it's hard to get picked up if you're, if a team doesn't think you can play that role. But at the same time, if you're not already trying to do it, then like no one's gonna see the potential in you if you're not even doing it on the team you're on right now. So I feel like he has to like showcase his talent a little more, or whatever team he's going to this season has to at least like try. Because I feel like if you don't start trying now, it's only gonna become harder and harder as the time goes on.
He just needs to find people that compliment him.
Right.
And as I'm sitting here looking at it, I think Shiba and Kim Jong. I think that'd be it wouldn't be that bad if they picked him up.
It'd be like
Yeah,
a poor man's version of the season 1 clappers almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
but back to number 14. Sorry,
Now we
for
have
the first time. Panther.
I'm gonna come
Um,
out and say it. I don't think Panther gets enough respect.
No,
Yeah,
I
he
don't think he
is.
does.
Go off. Dude,
I
go
feel
off.
Him and Walt-
he's
Yeah.
just very he gets put in the back because of he's on Noob and Dino's team, so he's kind of like the third man in terms of like big name players because you don't see him playing a lot. You see Mike and Dino, or you see Mike and Noob playing all the time. Panther's usually kind of just like in the back, but like Panther's one of those rare like offensive players. Like he's really talented on offense, which is like obviously the hardest thing to find in a player. But like he's really good down low, and I think if he had more of a spotlight, I feel like again he could be another person that could easily like level up and be one of the best players.
Panther's been playing third, but he still scores goals too, which is definitely
he
something
makes
to
a
be
lot.
said.
He's really unique. He makes a lot of like full ice like sprints, where he
Yeah.
like ramps up speed behind his net and zooms down the ice.
Yeah,
Like
man.
he'll usually at least get a shot off. He scores it a good bit, but it's really interesting to watch.
It's not a strategy that you see a lot of third players make. A lot of them are they're looking for a breakout, they're looking for a pass, bounce it off the boards, whatever it is. But Panther's someone who will just, have it behind and carry it up all the way and take a shot. So I think that's actually really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first started playing, Panther was up there for like one of the best at the time, and then partway through NSL, everyone just kind of like disregarded him, and then I guess he took that criticism and he really grinded, and we saw him in the finals this year of SPL. So
He's a 2-time finalist. He made it season 2 with the Titanics also. But I
Yeah.
just think Jack had a almost MVP like performance that season. I think he overshadowed him a bit. Evil played one of the best defensive players of that time. He doesn't really play anymore. He's actually back, but we'll see what happens with the SPL lockout and everything. Yeah, I mean the consistency proved itself. He gets a decent bit of the stats and 2-time finalist. Like it's not easy to make those playoff runs. So has to
Nice.
have something to do with him. Which leads into 15, another underrespected player in my eyes, Walster.
Former Boston Stallion along
With
with Panther. Yeah.
Well, I feel like you just don't see Walster play a lot besides just the league. And, like I know that it's like the league is like what matters and whatnot, but I feel like just having yourself visible, like the more you see people play and the more you see their skill, like just the more you're often to just think of them more as like the better of the players. And I never see Walster playing besides league. That's the only time I see him play. So it's a lot harder to like I feel like gauge his skill compared to everyone else because, like I said, I never see the guy play except for 3 or 2 games a week. So
Walster's a lot more present in chat than he is. in the
Right.
game.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I know Rodeo is gonna go off and defend him, but to me, Walster, besides his ability to put the puck in the net, I just don't think he's like great in any other area. I feel like when he gets the puck, I know I can go up and kind of take control of the situation there. But I mean, again, he's 15. He does put the puck in the net, and you can't do much to stop it.
Okay. I wait. Did you say he was 15?
I think you meant number 15.
Number
Oh.
15. Number 15.
Okay, I was like, wait. But okay. Yeah.
He's going to
I-
college, guys.
Yeah, well, that's why I was
I was
gonna.
like, he's a genius, bro.
Yeah, but I do agree that he lacks in other areas. Like it is fairly easy to get the puck off of. His passing hasn't really seemed to improve, even though I think a lot of people give him shit for it, which I don't know if he's like isn't focused on it or I don't know if I wonder what his teammates would say if you asked them about his passing. But he just gets pucks in the net, whether they're cheap goals or if it's a snipe, he's really good at those. Like his stats don't lie. He just gets the puck in the net, which I think deserves a spot. I think 15's right around the spot where you're like, you have some weaknesses, but you're also excelling in other areas. So
Right.
he deserves some recognition
It's
for that.
It's like I don't know how, but the goals just keep happening. So,
I don't know how. I mean, he has a nice shot, but like I don't know how. Still,
you need credit for. I mean, the stats. It's not that we're going off the stats completely, but I mean, when you're putting up stats, you can't ignore it. So we got Criz,
that's 16.
16, and it's an interesting spot for Criz
He should be
because
lower. I'm
the
saying
opposite of
25th.
the opposite of Walster.
doesn't shoot that much.
We've only
Oh.
seen him in one SPL game.
Yeah,
We've seen him in
he had a
JSL
goal.
before. Criz, we see him play though, so we know what Criz looks like. I think if he played more, I guess I could talk to you like you're here. If you played more competitive, and also were on a team where you weren't going to be like overshadowed, and you have a natural position to play, I think you could. You're a player to watch that I think could easily jump up like a lot of
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah, I
Most
think
definitely.
I think that's why 16 fits him. Like he excels a lot in passing, and he has a great breakout strategy. He doesn't
Just-
shoot a lot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think just with more competitive play and everything, like it's all gonna come really naturally to him.
Yeah, like it all looks good right now, but it just hasn't all come together to be proven.
Mhm.
And then I think, by the time next season, whatever format, whatever it is,
The lockout
when
ends.
it comes around, if we get to see Criz play more games, I think he'll prove himself for sure. He's got the speed.
Very
Yes.
surprised with my ranking.
16.
Well,
right?
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Surprised in a good way, not a
Top
bad way.
top 40, by the way.
Yeah, I should be like
Oh, God.
50th or something.
All right. Number 17, someone who also is probably going to be surprised with their ranking.
Maybe in a bad way. I
In a
think?
bad way,
Yeah,
for sure.
agreed.
It's going to be Cocky Walrus.
Yeah.
And
This is
before you call bias, I mean, this was pretty
y'all
much
motherfuckers
across,
voted.
pretty much
Well,
across
I just
the
want to
board.
say, if we're speaking bias, Balucha isn't even on the list, and we're at 17.
I'm not even
so
on the list, man.
let's just not even talk about bias, because that's
Yeah.
there's no bias here.
Yeah.
We're talking about that. Continue.
Okay, but y'all voted. We got Walrus at number 17, one way or another.
Yeah.
Walrus
I know.
knows my meme about him. Whether it's true or not, I'll leave that up to you guys. I think Walrus is very.
Lucky.
I don't know. He's like a Wallster kind of player where the pucks just keep going in the net, and I don't follow
I think
from point A to point B. I don't know how it gets there.
he might be one of the bigger drops we've seen on the list if you were to do it after NSL season 2, because he had a great season with me and Raph. More goals than me and Raph. I know he had a lot of lag issues, which sucks, but I mean, you have to account for it. He didn't put up the numbers. The team had a bit of a struggle, like half to I think 3/4 through the season. I know it's easy. Lag is an excuse for him. He had like 100 and something ping, but you do have to take it into account when you're making a list like this because other players did just perform better over the season.
Yeah.
Well,
So
for me, it's not that I feel like he got
But
worse or anything from where he used
Yeah.
to be. It's just I feel like a lot of other people have gotten better.
yeah,
Like
he's definitely down to his playing time too. He hasn't been playing as much.
right, yeah. So I think just naturally, like you slip a little when you haven't played, everything becomes a little more sloppy. So I just feel like the average player, I should say, the average like pro division player is a lot better than they were say 3 months ago. Like
Yeah.
we have pugs now, which we didn't have. I would say over 3 months ago we didn't have that. People are just playing more. There's just more people playing online all the time for you just to hop in a game. So I just feel like. Again, like if he wanted to, he could get a lot better. I just think he hasn't put in the time to continue to grow as a player.
Also in season 2, just to say what Balucha said, he wasn't scoring lucky goals season 2. They were just dimes from me and Raph that he was just that low angle shot, that he puts
Alright.
in. I think you saw because he was getting criticism throughout the season. I think you saw that fire get to his ass a bit because he really picked it up against the Clappers. Had a great series, show that he can still perform
definitely.
at that level.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for him going to the next season because I think he wants to be really good again.
Comeback
too.
player to look for.
We said he might have been one of the biggest drops from if we did a previous rank. I think he's another player that could have one of the biggest increases going back the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Bounce back.
I mean, Balucha's still the word fat out of my mouth. I was going to say I think he's a worse Wallster. But hopefully.
Well, we're not making any friends today. That's for sure.
I mean, neither of them play defense, so I actually don't really disagree.
Yeah.
They just play offense in very different ways.
Yeah.
Walrus is more like the cherry picker, which I think was lost a bit this season. I think another thing is probably the difference between playing with me and K-Spire. I think I pass a bit more than K-Spire does, where K-Spire passes up a bit of those easy opportunities where he just like sent it down the boards. Where I think Wallace was really comfortable in the role that me and Wrath gave him, which is where he excelled a lot in that season.
Sure.
I'd love to see that team mesh better and work on that more going into the next season.
Okay.
That leads us into 18.
That leads into 18. We have Mr. Vorq, the young gun.
Probably the only person on the list whose age is lower than their number. He has been grinding.
He's
probably
really been grinding.
one of the most improved. Probably has amazing handles. He uses them at questionable times, which is where probably his rating comes into play. But you can't deny that he just scores goals, and a lot of them are fairly nice.
I think Vork's technical skill has like really, really been coming up, but I'm wondering if you guys think there's something that's gonna like limit him from like uncapping himself.
His team.
No, I wouldn't even say his team. I think his own technical abilities was limiting himself because he is that good and he knows it. I think he tries to do too much.
Right.
And he doesn't look elsewhere.
I think a lot of players that hit the technical like ceiling that he's like thinking he's hitting, like just try to use it all the time. And I think he's gonna slow down soon enough and realize that those moves are really, really good to break out when you have people think you're gonna do other stuff also. Like right now when Vork's skating up to you on the ice, you know he's gonna try to like fleece you.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the opposite of like the FSI effect, where like FSI is like I feel like using his teammates too much. I feel like Vork's not using his teammates enough to like create open space for himself or like to create opportunities for himself. So I feel like he needs to, even like I said, even if it's like just passing to your teammate just to create the threat or the illusion that you're gonna do it next time. You can't just like go up and do the same thing 95% of the time and then wonder why you're getting like into the second and third period and like there's less and less space for you. You know what I mean? As the game goes on, people are gonna learn to read you. So you just have to open up yourself a little more and you'll do better.
Yeah.
So what we're hoping for Vork is just that, you know, he's gotten so good technically, like with the stick handling and everything, and just
the mental.
Once you realize you're there, like let's reel it back a little bit and remember that there's other tools at your disposal. You've got your team. Maybe pass it a little bit more.
And I mean, it's not like any of these people have coaches, so this might literally be the first time he's hearing this from other people, and that goes for everyone else on this list. I mean?
Yeah.
So it's nice to get that outside input.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not in a very critical, mean way. It's more of like we want to see you succeed kind of way.
Yeah, I think Vork's actually gotten really good. I never would have expected him to be even like on this list. So
yeah.
I think he's another person who could make a big jump up by the next time that we would make a list.
Yeah.
Let's move into 19.
19.
Kodiak.
Gets interesting from here. But
it does.
See,
yeah,
I can't speak a lot on this because I've never really seen him play, so I don't know much. So this is you.
I will say we're saying this like it's definitive. Like 15 through like 20, it shared a lot of the same names. It just came down to the numbers who edged who out, and it makes it maybe some things you don't think.
That's true. That's definitely an important thing to consider. I think Kodiak definitely deserves a spot on here.
Yeah.
You guys said you haven't seen him. I think he's actually really consistent. He's got decent stick handling. He hasn't like played as much as I feel like he could.
Yeah.
I don't know, with everything that's going on, I don't know what's his status, if he'll be coming back. But I think he's a great player, and I think he's got more to grow by playing competitively. Because, as far as I know, this is his first time, right?
He played NSL Season 1 for a bit and then retired.
Barely, yeah.
I don't think he played Season 2 at all.
No, he was working on it.
Yeah. And I think that team really found their footing towards the end, I think, right? I think they beat some good teams. It's hard to remember now. We're a bit farther out.
They were in that last day race for the 8th seed.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep up the controversial trend I've been having here, and I'm gonna call him and Q-Dub the discount Sheba and Kim Jong.
Dang.
That's just how I feel when I look at them.
I mean, they've got good chemistry together, so I get the
Exactly.
comparison, but maybe they're just not as good, or that they don't produce at the same consistency. So I mean, you don't have to take it as like the biggest negative. Like the chemistry is definitely there, and I think those are two players that I'd like to see continue to play together.
Hmm.
But I definitely get the comparison that you're making.
No, and I want to see these duos grow because I mean, let's look at the Clappers, right? They've been the longest running team and they're the best. So if we could see these duos stay together, who knows what they're going to be like? So
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
we'll do this list next year and they're up top 5 or something.
Brings us into number 20, the last player on the list,
The last
Luigi.
player on the list, Luigi.
Hmm. One of the standout performers from the Hootenannies, especially early in the season. They had probably a surprising run for people coming in where they would rank those teams.
Definitely. I think that was one of the biggest surprise teams. And along with that, Luigi was one of the biggest surprise players on it. So
Mhm.
I don't think that going into the placement season, probably any of us would have guessed. But he just took complete control of the scoring of the Hootenannies and, you know, dragged them into Pro Division. So I think
Yeah.
that's admirable.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I had Jambi on my team in NSL season 1, and he begged me to pick up Luigi, who unfortunately I couldn't because he wasn't signed up at the time, and that was just the rules. But now I can see why that he wanted him
Yeah.
so badly. He deserved it.
Okay, well that wraps up the top 20. I know if your name wasn't on here, don't feel offended. This is community voted. It doesn't. You can improve a lot still. There's still a lot of room for everyone to grow. The last even up to like 10, like the votes were like really like close to
Yeah,
everything. It all
Oh
just
yeah,
It's all little shit. It's just
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
There's easily 5
Um,
people I can name right now that I can slot.
And
Number
there were some people
15
left
even.
off. Like Dennis wasn't on here. Probably a lot of people noticed. I
Well-
don't think he plans on playing next season.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask. So now that we went through 20, just
Mm.
to rattle them off, if you think anyone like wasn't included that could have been or should have been,
Mhm.
just so that
Um,
people don't
yeah.
feel left
Number
out.
1 snub. Let's go right now.
Number 1 sub. I'm not gonna
Noob
put
Ups?
Dennis. I'm not gonna put Dennis.
Yeah, probably either Noobups, Donut, maybe. He's improved a lot.
How
I'll
are you?
say
Cuda.
Balucha.
Balucha, thank you.
Lucha, yeah.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just
But
say
also,
I
any of those
had
players could
Balucha
have made
higher
top
on my
20.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seppi.
It's just so close. Yeah, Seppi's
Holy
someone
shit.
who he's got the stats to back it up, and he's
Yeah.
above actually a lot of
Yeah.
these people. But
I never
mean,
see the dude play, so it's tough for me to.
Mhm.
I had Seppi 15th, just to put that out there. Sorry, Seppi.
Yeah, Seppi was probably the most he was all over the place on everyone else's rankings,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
he was definitely a
Okay.
snub.
Balucha.
about it.
You didn't say your snub.
I said Scots.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Oh, yeah, true.
Good pick.
But see, like, even players like Scods, Q-Dub, like, Balucha, like, any of these people could have been, like, 15 through 20. Like, it all just comes down to little things.
It's all just dumb
Yep.
shit and what you prefer to
Yeah.
fucking play with.
Yeah.
Yep. Bias.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll wrap up our top 20 list. Definitely took us a little longer than we thought. So next week, something I wanted to talk about was the SPL, if there is obviously another season. 2 things: open playoffs. I know there was like a little bit of a debate back and forth, but obviously typing doesn't get everybody's full opinion, and I definitely want to talk about that because I feel like I have a different opinion. Some people think there should be playoffs, some people think there shouldn't. So I'll let you guys think about that. And also, I want to start to like next week try to develop like roles for players. Like next season, I'd like to see like almost like a. I know it's tough because you have to play kind of like every role, but just more people like being identified by their roles. Like okay, Flaunty, like more of like defensive player, and then you can start looking at like we could have lists not just like top 20 players. We could have like okay, top 5 players by like their preferred position,
Yeah.
something like that. Like
I
where I
like
feel like it would be like it would help players a lot more understand like where they are as a player and not just like oh overall you do everything as a player, because I feel like that's just not realistic. Like a defenseman doesn't like stick handle the puck in hockey. I know in this game it's a little different, but just I kind of want to start to develop that meta. So
Yeah, that'll be exciting to talk about. And then also definitely I want to say thank you to Chef Reno for joining us here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
He
And
put the whole list together.
yeah,
The
helping
reasons
us
episode came
get all
together.
the lists together, get the votes and everything. So
thanks,
shouts
Chef.
out to him and thanks for your takes and everything. It was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely a
thanks
fun
for,
episode.
Thanks
Nice
for
chill
giving it a
episode.
little more
Nothing
light.
crazy.
Play a
Rather
little
than
game.
just a
Guess the next guess. We'll see what people say. Who the next guest will be.
Yeah, see if anyone can guess who the next guest will be.
Mhm.
It might surprise you.
It might surprise you. If anybody if anybody
I don't-
gets it right, we'll give you something. We don't know what it is yet, but we'll give you something.
Okay.
Maybe.
I just
All
want to
right.
add. I just want to add. I hope there's another SPL season. It was so well ran. Whether it's SPL or not, I just want more competitive Slapshot. I think everyone had a lot of fun last
Yeah.
season.
Sure.
I'm
I'm
pretty
getting bored
sure
of the
we all
break.
do.
I
dude.
wanna
Yeah,
get
it gives us something to talk about here, which helps. But also, just playing and playing and watching the other games is always so much fun. That I hope we
Yeah.
can get something going.
We don't have to make this
Yep.
dog shit list for content.
This list means nothing. if we
It's
don't
an
get it
anime
again.
filler episode.
Yeah, this is literally
Yeah.
an anime filler right here.
Okay, let's wrap it
All
up.
right.
All right, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Peace.